What I like in the Merovingian is that it's a certain vulgarity. I love the fact that he goes for things that are a little too decorative. His house, the chateau, is really over the top. I've always wanted to come and check the sets before to see how much of a king he was, how grand he was.
We looked at all the big palaces in Europe. Like, actually most of this comes from the Hermitage. So it's over the top where they had lots of money to spend and just gild everything and make everything shiny and glisten.
We have in our culture, in our French culture, we have the immediate memory of amazingly grand places like Versailles, or the king's castles. I mean, those images are very present to our minds all the time, so that we can trigger them very easily.
So this is the Merovingian Chateau upper hallway. The designing of this was lots of references to old chateaux in Europe, looking at things like the Versailles Hall of Mirrors. Initially, it didn't seem like it needed to be very large, but these are 9 metres wide. It just kept on getting larger and larger, and the detailing of all the mouldings and how we wanted it to look like marble. Also, we did research on the paintings that would look really good up on the walls and got clearances for these fantastic paintings, and they're just huge colour photocopies that we then got our set finishing department to age down to look more realistic. Those little tricks of the trade. So this is a set where there's a lot more weapons. It's going back to that idea of there being warriors, Merovingian. So it's filled with weapons that are from every country of every era. That's the idea that we're trying to push right through the chateau. The actual chateau that we're filming at for the front is in the Loire Valley, and it doesn't really have a nice back door, so we had to create our own. They've taped on grout lines. It's a tape here to create all these grout lines, and then they've got a slurry of plaster which they've pushed across, and then probably another coat so that we can try and get this texture into it. And they've pulled off the tape and then got in there with extra bits to try and make it look like it's much more aged.
The flashiness of the places that he decides to surround himself with says a lot about who he is.
The statues, you'll notice that they're all the same person, and those are all the images of the Merovingian. They're all his own likeness, or they're identical. So that's another sign of his egomaniacal control. No Venuses, no Mars, it's all him.
He has quite strong, vulgar tastes, flash. He likes everything that shines. He's very much a Leo somehow, which I am too.
This mural is a symbol of the Matrix, but in sort of a Renaissance or medieval theme. This is medieval times, and there's the rest of us. This is all us humans on Earth battling it out. And then above that, we've got heaven with the angels. But the angels aren't really just angels. The angels are actually manipulating what's going on Earth. And who's at the center of heaven but Merv himself? So it's all about him. Again, he's controlling everything that's going on in heaven and everything that's happening on Earth. So this is another analogy for the Matrix, where we all think that we're in control of what's going on here on Earth, but actually there's a whole other system in place where we're being manipulated. We looked at a lot of marble floors, a lot of floors in Venice, and again, just throughout the classic palaces of Europe, because that's the imagery that we as Westerners, that's where our heritage comes from, to think of those are the people who've been ruling us all this time. And that's what we're working on now, is designing a rubber floor so that the stunt guys can fall on that, but that it still looks like marble. So we're about to unroll the marble on top of the rubber, or the vinyl marble on top of the rubber on top of the wood marble.
So do you want to just bring that one back so that it will line up with this line here?
So no, don't get too carried away, because I'll center them up over there.
And we've got to shoot it in sequence, because as they go through and they damage everything, we can't really put it all back together. So it's going to be interesting to see what it looks like in the end.
If I had imagined where he would be reigning, I would have completely agreed with the places that I have found.